Alright, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the forest design in the quarry field. The first thing I wanted to mention is that we're not actually that constrained in the bottom field. We've got quite good soil. It's a blend of brown earth in some places and a brown clay in other places, but generally the soil is fairly good quality. That it's quite sheltered in this field, so quite a few of the trees that we have wanted to plant don't like exposure, so it doesn't like high wind or bad weather. So I mean, they're going to get some bad weather, but generally down here it's not going to be too bad, so we're pretty free to do what we want down here, which is been a nice thing to have compared to the top field where we're slightly more constrained because of exposure. Right, so let's spin around and have a look on the ground. So we're up behind the quarry, so this is the quarry in the middle with these trees on, and the quarry sits in the middle of the field. And the access is down this side here. This is our kind of the drove road where we can get access into our land, and we're planning to build a new track off here into the quarry, and also one that will come around the back of the quarry here, and well, in front of the quarry as we're looking at it, and then up here into the wood, along an old track in the wood, and then up into the top field and around into the garden field as well. So the three fields we have: the quarry field, the top field and the garden field. And then in the quarry field down here, we've broken it up into three sub-compartments. So we've got one compartment on this side, we've got one compartment behind the quarry, or in front of the quarry as we're looking at it, and the other is behind the quarry as we're looking at it. So the soil is pretty similar all around, and we've broken up based on kind of our feeling for the site in terms of which trees are going to go where, because we're not super constrained here. The first compartment, let's go start on this left hand side. We've gone for an oak, a wild cherry and a silver birch mix. So the oak and the wild cherry, they're our main timber trees, and the silver birch is what's classed as a nurse species. So the two main benefits to nurse species here as the silver birch is that it grows faster than the wild cherry and the oak, which means that should force the main timber trees, the oak and the wild cherry, to grow up straighter, because they need to grow towards the light. And if the silver birch is taking the light from the side because it's growing quicker, then that forces the oak and wild cherry to grow upwards. And the second reason is that the silver birch is a nitrogen fixing plant, so it takes nitrogen from the air and it puts it down in the soil, and then the oak and the wild cherry can use that later to help them grow. The second compartment back here is going to be a coniferous compartment. So we've gone for Douglas fir, western red cedar and coastal redwood. So they're trees not native to the UK, they're from the western coast of America. So some of these trees already grow in the UK, not in great numbers. So Douglas fir is probably the most well grown tree in the UK. The other two not so much, and we're growing them because we're kind of growing them because they are more unusual, because they should be good timber trees. They should also grow well on this site generally. So the Douglas fir doesn't really like it being too wet, so obviously we wouldn't plant it where this wet area is here, but over there we can see the molehills and the sheep, and down here on this side, just before you get down to the oak section up here, we'll plant some there. So that's our coniferous section, sub-compartment, and then our final compartment over down the other side is another broadleaf compartment. So it's going to be sycamore and Norway maple, and predominantly it's going to be sycamore. The main reason we're planting sycamore is because it's the fastest growing really of the broadleaf trees that we're allowed to plant in the terms of the grant, and it's what's classed as kind of semi-natural to the UK. So it's not technically, like, let's say natural, say native, semi-native to the UK. it's not. It's been here for a few hundred years, but it's not. It's been, I think, brought over by people. But it's actually, it's a bit of a shame that actually we've got a lot of ash in the woods here, and actually the quarry down here, there's a lot of ash in that. And it's actually has been growing really well, but because of the ash dieback disease in the UK, which is actually affecting most of these trees, that we're probably going to have to cut down in the next couple of years before they get too dangerous. We're not allowed to plant that, so we're thinking what else can we plant, and the sycamore is kind of the obvious kind of replacement. So, and then Norway maple is a bit more unusual, but of course we don't want to put all our eggs in one basket with the sycamore. We want to make sure that if there's some problem with sycamore in the future, that we have got another tree there to take its place in case. Right, so yeah, that's a brief overview of what's happening in this field. I want to mention a bit about the planting densities as well. So we plant the grant for the broadleaves means we have to plant about 3,000 trees per hectare, and the conifers is about 2,500 a hectare. You can plant more than that if you wanted, but that's the balance they've decided is good to create a woodland or forest effect in the future. And if you think about it, like a mature oak forest is probably like 70 to 100 trees per hectare in the future. So you can see that in the next 100 years, most of the trees are going to die or going to have to be cut down to create that kind of native or mature oak forest. Of course, that's the big trees, the mature trees. With the technique we're hoping to use, continuous growth forestry, there should be lots of smaller trees growing up under that. But really it's about those 3,000 trees that we're going to plant to start with. We're going to probably going to cut most of those down. So it's another good reason for planting silver birch as a nurse, because it means the silver birch you don't have to look after so much, and they're also a bit cheaper to buy. So it's good to plant the silver birch in there at the start, just to kind of reduce kind of our work a little bit and the cost, especially when they're not all going to reach maturity. So that's kind of our kind of thinking and our reasoning behind that a little bit. Right, so I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you in the next video when we're going to go up and look at the top field.